I'm just saying I don't want an ecosystem on the floor. There is literally stuff growing on the floors. There are dishes which are growing mold. It smelled like something was rotting. Other people don't want to see your bloody tampon. Right, so that was just the general scenario that was happening in our house at the time, and why I was just very unhappy living there. But there came like a main drama that happened. So the main drama was I moved out of the house quite early. Like, our contract only just ended on the 10th of August, but I left the house in June because basically as soon as I finished exams I wanted to be out of there. It came to like July or something, and she messaged the group like, oh yeah guys, our bill of £40, like, can you pay me for it? And I was like, I don't think it's fair that we should have to pay, you know, £40 for a bill if we're not there using up the energy. Like, I'm not using the gas and electric obviously because I'm not in the house. And she was like, oh, what the hell, like, that's your problem if you're gonna leave the house earlier, like, you're still in a contract with the house, like, you should be paying that, blah blah blah. And I would get that if it wasn't for what especially annoyed me is the fact that I knew Ellie was in the house. So, you know, if you and Ellie, like, it's not even just you using the house, you've got a second person using up energy, surely you should get that other person to pay part of the gas and electric. And I definitely knew she was at the house because I went back like a week later because I had to meet my supervisor, and I went to go and get my bike as well because I'd left my bike at uni but I wanted to bring it to London with me. So I literally popped into the house for like half an hour to like get my bike, and Ellie was just lounging out on the sofa, chilling in her pajamas. Her suitcase was left in front of my bedroom, her clothes everywhere. You know, they were both clearly living in the house. So why should I have to pay gas and electric for someone who's staying with you? Like, I'm not paying for her usage. I've already had to pay for her usage throughout the whole year when she basically lived with us. I've already had to do that for a whole year. I'm not doing it after I'm not even in the house as well. You're having a laugh, especially not the full £40. Like, I know gas and electric and stuff, there's usually a set amount you should pay and then you pay for the usage, but it's like I'm not paying a full £40 when I've used absolutely no energy. Like, that's a joke. And I looked it up as well, and that's like a fair enough thing. I looked it up because I was like, well, am I being unfair about this, or is this an actual thing? And when I looked it up, it did say it's usually, you know, common that you don't have to pay for all of the usage, you only really have to pay for the base set amount. But she was like, what the hell, like, you're the one who decided to leave the house, like, it's not my fault that you didn't want to stay at the house all the way until August, like, you still have to pay me. This is where there was massive beef. Let me find my receipts. The reason why I got really defensive about this as well, so because like I said, the gas and electric was in my name in the beginning, I actually had access to the online account, like where it showed all our bills and stuff. And towards the end, like for about 4 months, they told us you're gonna have to start paying a set direct debit of like £118 a month. And that really annoyed me because it was starting to get towards summer obviously, and we literally weren't using any heating at all. So we literally never ever had the heating on. From like March, we didn't touch the heating at all, but we were still having to pay a base level of £118. And I was like, why is that? Like, that's so unfair, like, when we're not using that usage at all. So when I ended up going to look at the bills online, I realized that 2 or 3 months in a row, she hadn't paid them the right amount. So say the bill that was due was like 120, she'd only paid 70. The second month, the bill was like, what, 90 or something, she'd only paid 50 or so. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't remember the exact amounts, but she'd been paying them a lot less than what the bill actually was. And that meant we ended up being in debt of like £100 or like over £100. And it was after that they sent an email, got the email saying, we're gonna have to set your direct debit to 118 to cover the losses of the debt. So you'd already cost us that money. If it wasn't for you paying them less than, you know, you were supposed to pay them, our bill would have been like £40 in the summer months because we were literally using no heating. So that had already annoyed me. I'm not even in the house and you're trying to get me to pay a third of the bill. Like, that's ridiculous. So she was trying to explain it all to me like, oh, it's not a penalty for us having to pay, it's just because we got a massive bill and I didn't want us to pay all of it. Like, she'd made the decision that it was better for us to pay the direct debit, which meant we were going to be paying £120 even in the summer months rather than paying off when we got like one big bill. And she was trying to explain it to me, you still have to pay me, just pay me my money, pay me my money, blah blah blah. The bit that really got to me was actually when Amelia chimed in. Again, like I said, she was always that like aggravator. This was nothing to do with her. Like, the bill isn't even your bill, you know, it's nothing to do with you. It was said in the group chat because that's just the easiest way to say it, and I wanted to, you know, have proof that because Faith had been paying less of the bill, it meant that we ended up in debt, which I would have thought Amelia would be like on my side, kind of like, you know, Faith, why did you pay them less than you should have? Like, that's put us in debt. But you know, no, she was just butt licking Faith like no other. Like, she always defended defended Faith, which I literally didn't understand. Like, she was like, I moved out literally on the day after you, which I know she did. It's not worth making an issue about the bills, as if Faith has been there throwing parties and draining internet, etc. Which, to be honest, you don't know. You weren't in the house, so how do you know Faith wasn't throwing parties and using up internet? Like, do you know what I mean? She was defending her, but she had no leverage to defend her. You can't say she's not been throwing parties and using up energy, because she might have. And regardless, we were having to pay a set level of direct debit anyway. And she was like, besides, when you're doing £200 boohoo hauls, I don't think £30 to pay someone who has just had to pay the full 90 is much of a push. So she literally tried to shade me. She tried to drag me by saying that, you know, I was spending money on £200 boohoo hauls, so I should be able to afford the £30 bill. First of all, if you've seen my haul, I literally talked about how most of the stuff in the haul was trash. Most of it didn't fit me, so I kept like 3 things from that boohoo haul. So your point is irrelevant, bitch. At least watch my whole video and realize that I didn't even keep most of the stuff before you say that. Second of all, even if I did spend all of that £200 on boohoo, at least I know that's something it's the stuff that I want, that's of value to me. Paying £30 to someone for other people's usage is a waste of my money. £200 on boohoo, it's a lot more than £30, but that's a good use of my money. Why should I have to pay for their usage and I'm not in the house? If you want to waste your money on that because you're butt licking her and, you know, you don't mind wasting £30 when you're not in the house, that's up to you, darling, but I don't want to do that, so that's not my problem. This is the same girl as well who, when Sky had emailed us when we were, you know, obviously still in the house, they'd offered to give us way better internet. What was it, like fibre optic, for like something ridiculous like £5 extra a month, and they also wanted like a £20 upfront. It was like, I think it was either £10 or £20 each upfront cost to do that. The thing is, she was downstairs, so I'm sure she had brilliant internet. Me and Faith upstairs always had shitty internet. Mine was even a little bit better. Faith's, back in the day when I used to go into her room, the internet in her room was so shitty. When I got that email, because obviously I was in charge of the internet bill, they'd emailed me about it. I was like, oh guys, this is a really good idea, like the internet is shit, so if we're gonna get better internet for only £5 a month, split between us, that's less than £2 each extra a month. She was like, I wouldn't even mind the £5 extra a month, it's just that I don't have money for a £20 or £10, whatever it was, upfront cost right now. For her on the same day to tell me about how she had to spend £90 on a virtual pen or whatever. She used to like do art, and she'd had one of those pens you could like connect to your computer and like draw. She was like, no, I don't have that much money to spend for you on the same day to tell me you bought a pen for £90. But you know, you can do what you want with your money just like I can. You know, telling me that I'm spending £200 on boohoo hauls when I should pay £30 for someone else's usage, like you're being ridiculous at that point. And she also defended Ellie's usage, because I obviously said, you know, Ellie's been using up her energy the whole year anyway, I don't want to have to pay for her energy now. She was like, Faith was barely in the house, like, so Ellie's usage was on par because she was using up the same amount that would have been used if Faith, like, she was really trying to defend them out here, like. And I was like, do you know what, you saying that is unnecessary, because even though maybe Ellie wasn't in the house 24/7 after first term, she basically was in first term, but she's still taking showers at our house. And I literally baited her. I was like, you're the one who's constantly complained about Faith and Ellie, that complained about how they leave windows open, about how messy they are and how it annoys you when you just cleaned the kitchen and they came and messed it up again. So you've complained about them, so stop making it seem like I'm the bitch who's just complaining about them now. The person who's an actual honest person always gets the shit, because I've been honest throughout the whole year. I was honest in this group chat, and you know, I basically said my mind, whereas Amelia acted like she was defending Faith so much when actually she'd been bitching about them to me a lot behind their back in the house. So you acting like you're defending them now, being their savior, just makes you a two-faced bitch, really. So she ended up saying, thanks for the entertainment I get to read out to my family anyway, chaps. That was after I baited her out. After I was like, oh, you know, you're now defending Faith, are you? You're the one who's been bitching about Faith behind her back the whole time. Just a coincidence that you decide to leave the conversation that you shouldn't have been involved in anyway as soon as I, you know, rinse out your name. It was just insanely dramatic and like bitchy in the group chat, and they literally ganged up against me. I was in shock, especially with Amelia. Like, I'd realised that, you know, me and Faith didn't get on anymore. But the thing with Amelia is, other than, you know, that I said that time where she said, oh, if you want clean floors, that you should go live in a student castle or whatever, we actually got on a lot of the time. I'd like go and ask her a quick question, and I'd end up like in her room for like half an hour, 40 minutes, and we'd just be talking. Even up to a few weeks before I left, I thought we were fine. I knew she wasn't my bestie or anything, but you know, we were civil, we talked. helped. Like if she came into the kitchen, we'd have a nice conversation. So for her to like chime up in this group chat where it had nothing to do with her as well and try and drag me unnecessarily when I was the one bringing facts, I'm fucking done. Like I've had to live with you and live in disgusting squalor for a whole year, and I've dealt with that, and you're really trying to drag me and take the piss after I've even moved out. You're really still trying to piss me off. Oh my god, what I found absolutely hilarious is when, because you know I had receipts and facts, she thought she could hit me with a bit of something to get me a bit shook, instead of, you know, actually owning up to that or even explaining why she underpaid them, because that's what I wanted. I literally said, I want to know why the fact that you underpaid them has ended up costing us more money and meant that I've had to spend more of my money for gas and electric in the summer when it should have cost us very little. She didn't explain that, went on to say, don't even start with shit like that when we let you bring fucking dogs in and get paid for it when you're not even allowed them in the property. There's a website like Dog Buddy where you kind of can dog sit other people's dogs. And in the beginning of the year, I said to them, oh guys, I really love dogs. Obviously you guys probably know that I have a dog myself, and I was like, oh, I'm quite interested in doing this thing called Dog Buddy where you can dog sit dogs. I wouldn't be having them that often, but what do you guys think? And they're both also very much dog people. Like Amelia herself has like 2 or 3 dogs. She absolutely loved dogs. Faith also used to have a dog and she likes dogs as well. They were both like, oh my god, yes, that's such a good idea, like please do it. Oh my god, dogs are so cute, we love them, dog people, blah blah. And I know we weren't allowed them in the property, like in our lease, which a lot of most student like kind of rentals, they don't allow you to have dogs. It said you can't have any pets, but it was something that I really wanted to do, and I felt like I wasn't going to be having them that often, do you know what I mean? I'm not having a dog in the house for like 8 months. I literally looked after, how many dogs was it? 4? I think it was 4 dogs or maybe 5 dogs, and most of them I didn't look after for more than like, one of the dogs stayed for like 1 night, most of them stayed for like 2 or 3 nights. And the way she said that fucking boiled my blood, because anytime I did have a dog in the house, she'd always like make them come up to her and she'd like Snapchat it, the dog, and be like, oh my god, we have a dog in the house, oh my god, so cute. She'll allow the dog for clout and to post on her Snapchat that she has a dog in the house. But then when, you know, I bring up something which is true, that you've cost us a lot of money, you brought up that as if you didn't want the dogs in the house at all, and as if I didn't consult with you every single time. Like anytime I got like a request, there are so many of them I rejected first of all, and any dog I ever was gonna look after, I like literally would message them and be like, guys, this person wants me to look after their dog from this date to that. Most of the time she wasn't even in the house when the dogs were there. Throughout the whole year I looked after 4 or 5 dogs, like I said, for like 2 or 3 days at a time, like max, except for the last dog. I think that dog was there for like 5 days. But yeah, I told them about it every single time, and even it said we can't have pets in the property. We were like, oh, do you know what, dogs are cute, should we have them? And they were like, oh my god, yes, like please, oh, I can't wait to have all these dogs, blah, blah, blah. So that was a very change of tune from her, like considering she'd literally been the one who was excited to have the dogs. It would always be like, oh my god, yeah, please have that dog, like oh my god, it's so cute, oh my god, Snapchat, we have a dog. Like really, literally, the dogs that I had in the house were cleaner than her girlfriend, who, you know, we had to deal with it being in the house for pretty much the whole of the year. So do you know what I'm saying? I never had like, none of the dogs ever soiled anything, obviously never pissed on anything, they never made any mess. I basically always kept them in my room with me, and then we'd go on walks. And Amelia likes the dogs as well, so she'd always like have them in her room because she wanted to have them in her room. It wasn't like the dog was really, you know, causing much of a problem. Your girlfriend, however, in the house, using up all of our energy and being super loud and being messy was, you know, more of a problem than having a few dogs, darling. After that group chat, we basically didn't talk again. They both like deleted me off Facebook. Well, you unfriended me on Facebook, how dramatic and scary. I really cared about your Facebook. Yeah, that's how I've been living for the past year. It was not fun to live with, I'm not gonna lie. My last year has been hell for quite a lot of it, but at least it's made for an interesting story time, I hope. Let me know if any of you guys are at uni and you've had similar experiences. I feel like it's a lot more common than people realize. I was literally talking to my friend who I met up with yesterday about, and she said she had the same thing. Like she lived with disgusting housemates who just would never clean, left the house in an absolute state. So it's really not uncommon. I feel like a lot of uni students just have this idea that they're uni students, they're having fun, they don't need to clean. Come on, like balance your life. Like you can go out and have fun, but it doesn't mean you need to leave your dishes growing mold for like, you know, weeks on end. I literally remember Luke, when he came to stay with me for the last week, got so fed up with them. Like he found this mouldy cup and he just moved it outside into the garden. He was like, this is disgusting. Even though Luke in the beginning, when I'd complain to him, he'd like be like, oh Moesha, don't worry about it, don't be so negative about it, just, you know, try not to think about it. But then when he came to live with me for the last week, he realized how disgusting they are. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that story time. If you can even enjoy it, you can, you know, see what I endured for the last year of my life. I'm so happy to be out of that house. I'm hoping that the next house will be like miles better. Yeah, if you did enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you aren't subscribed already. Hit that notification bell so that you get notified every time I post a video. Yeah, wish me luck for next year, guys. And like I said, let me know if you guys have had any like other similar experiences as well. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. Bye.